Yes, the next steps would be to vote for the next executive director. So do we have last time we did this, we did a roll call vote. We can do that. We can do a motion and a second in discussion. Meredith, what's our legal?
I mean, according to Robert's rules, it would be, someone would make a motion to hire a candidate and then see whether or not it passed by majority. But if you wish to do it roll call and have each person state the selection and have Ms. Alma count those, I mean, that's also a sufficient way of, taking a vote.
What does the board want to do?
I don't, Ms. Meredith, I'd like to ask you this question. Does this entity have the opportunity in this situation, because I've seen it in other governmental entities, where the board has the opportunity in personnel decisions to have executive sessions?
So there is an opportunity for executive sessions, but not in this case. It would only be if you were facing litigation or something like that. But there's no way to go outside of the sunshine. So the vote, either way, would have to be in the sunshine.
Okay. Then I'd suggest you do Robert's Rules of Order, since we said that's
Sounds
our
good.
parliamentary procedure.
Is there a motion?
Last time we kind of went down the dais and talked about, and then we said who we supported and went down, and then after it was kind of consensus of who that may have been, somebody made a motion when it was obvious to where it was headed, but whatever the board wants to do.
I mean, I can go first if you want me to. I appreciate both candidates. I think they're both qualified. So thank you to both of you. My recommendation is for Ms. Cannon, because she has the more experience in the child welfare. She also has more experience in staff and working with staff. She has a large board of directors and is able to handle that. And I think Mr. Wilson would be great. However, I think Ms. Cannon has the experience in managing contracts and managing staff and managing people and the child welfare experience. So that's my recommendation.
I would go with Ms. Cannon as well, basically the same reasons. Her length of history of managing contracts, the type of contract she has managed, the population she has worked with for 20-plus years as well, very familiar with the community and those communities that we're trying to serve right now. I agree, both are very good candidates. But to me, the majority of experience and expertise would lay with Ms. Cannon.
My good fortune from the school district is no matter what happens, I get to work with both of them day in and day out. If you look just at experience with child welfare, there's no question about who has the most experience. That is Mrs. Cannon. If you look at what somebody's been able to do in our community, turn something around that had in a very dark time with a downtown improvement board, Mr. Wilson's done a tremendous job. So the school district's going to win either way. Thank you.
I was just going to wait.
I'm going to share similar comments. I think we've ended up with a pool of 500-plus candidates that we produced two extraordinary candidates. Both of them, as I see it, similar to Mr. Leonard, I don't have the privilege of working with both of them, but they are both serving our community and I think doing extraordinary jobs in doing that. So I think Escambia County as a whole has come out well. But in the position that we are in as the board, the business that we are in, so to speak, of child welfare, and the fact of working with the large budget, the staff, and the need for collaboration throughout the community, specifically within the child welfare arena, I think that Ms. Cannon has the experience and those relationships already in place at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I have the good fortune of working in youth development and delinquency prevention for 35 years, and had a conversation with Lindsay and with Walker, and I like them both. And I think we don't go wrong, but certainly, and I've had this conversation, privately with Lindsay, and I think that Walker is an up-and-coming leader. He certainly understands the landscape and the management side and the navigation side of how this can be somewhat, not necessarily political, but it has to be, someone that's engaged. And so I've certainly listened to both. Didn't need to be here tonight. I should have been out giving out trophies and toys, but I am here, which is a misfortune. But I've certainly been public about my position in supporting Mr. Walker, but I certainly would support Lindsay as well.
You not always have an opinion. And I know, and again, I know both candidates personally, have worked with both of them personally, so I was very, I tried to be very, only by paper, not based it on anything else. I asked both of them the same questions when I spoke to them the other day. I believe both of them have a love for our community, being in the field that I am with nursing and actually being a CPS investigator as well. That child welfare component is, I think, extremely important to working with the families that we work for. And so if I had to go one way or another, it would be Lindsay because of that background and working with the increasing that revenue from the 4.7 to 10 million was like a big green flag for me, and working with the 30 different funding sources, because if you sat on those grant applications and saw how much work that was, I think that is probably where we could really use some expertise, and I think that's where her expertise would be able to help our staff and help alleviate some of those issues that we have with, because as a board, we aren't experts in that, and so we really need somebody to help us fine-tune those grants. Also, when I asked her about her experience with reviewing those government contracts, again, we aren't experts in that, and sitting through those, I think, makes her a great candidate for us.
So this is very difficult. I've got a lot of friends that have lobbied me on both sides, and I've asked the political question every time I've met with each of them, and I've asked in an interview. And this board is political in a lot of sense. And I've done job searches on many nonprofit boards. Some of the candidates had no experience running a nonprofit, none. And we hired certain people, and they've worked out well. Over the years, and I'm proud of that. I kind of look at this like the CEO of GM went to work for GM as an administrative assistant to the CEO. Then she went into HR, and then she ran some different projects, and now she's running GM. And I'm sure people said, she's got no experience in the car building section. And for me, it's like, I want to shake it up and have a seismic shift in what we're doing, because what we're doing, in my opinion, is not working. And this board, serving on it, and I'm a part of it, and I made a lot of these votes, but it hasn't been the best experience of my life out of all the boards I've served on. And I want to change that. And I believe Walker's the one that can change that. I believe from the elected officials I've talked to, he's very well respected. He has good character. He has good rapport and good relationships. Does he know every ounce about this trust? No, but I wouldn't expect him to. But I would expect him to run the agency like a business, make tough decisions, look people in the eye and tell them, no, your program does not fit what we're doing here. And I think some of the problems we've experienced is that hard conversation and saying, no, we can't do that. So I could definitely work with both of them. I think they're both wonderful people. They have both done great in this community. But for me, tonight, it's Walker Wilson. Thank you.
Mr. Williams and Judge Harris, did you have a comment?
Yeah, we still comment, or we just vote?
Roll call. Is that what you?
That's second for Walker Wilson.
I'm sorry, who, was that Commissioner?
I'm assuming Walker, since he said Walker, he's making a motion for Walker. Is he not? Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call. Ms. Woods,
Lindsay.
Mr. Williams,
Walker Wilson.
Mr. Peden,
Walker Wilson.
Dr. Northup, Mr. Leonard,
Lindsey Cannon,
Ms. Kane,
Lindsay Cannon.
Commissioner May,
Walker Wilson.
Ms. White,
Lindsey Cannon.
and Judge Harris.
Lindsey Cannon.
Thank you. I have 6 for Lindsay Cannon, 3 for Mr. Wilson.
Then I make a motion for Lindsey Cannon.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
What's next?
What is next? Hang it up on my agenda.
Madam Chair, I think that I'd like to make a motion that the board chair work out the contract details with our attorney and Ms. Cannon. And then we'll bring it back to the board next month to ratification.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I want to thank Mr. Wilson for being here and everything you've done.
Yes.
We really appreciate you.